everyone, this is Courtney from HCAA, and I'm back again speaking with you about My Plate and the different groups on My Plate. We are in week 5 of our lessons, and today we are going to talk about the grain group. And My Plate tells us that a quarter of our plate should be grains, but even more specifically that half of those grains should be whole grains. So grain, as it is found in the field, is called a kernel of grain. And for a grain to be considered a whole grain, it has to have all 3 parts of the grain intact. So we can see here the 3 different parts of a grain, and if all 3 parts of those are intact, then the item is considered a whole grain item. If an item is a refined grain, that means that 1 or 2 parts of the whole grain have been removed. Typically, there are vitamins and minerals that are added back to that product, but it's important to note that if all 3 parts of the grain are not intact, a person is going to miss out on some very important nutrients without eating a whole grain item. So how can a person buying grain items in the store determine if an item is whole grain or not? Is it by the color? Is because an item is brown tell us that it's a whole wheat product? Because it says on the front that it's whole grain, does that mean it's a whole grain product? Not necessarily. You actually have to look at the ingredients to see if whole and then a grain type is listed after that. It must say whole grain. So for example, on this 100% whole wheat bread, we can tell that the first ingredient is in fact whole wheat flour. Today I'm with my son Joey. Joey's 9 years old. And he's going to help me make a very simple trail mix that can include some of those whole grains that we were discussing and to get those into your diet or that of your children. The majority of our trail mix are going to be ingredients that are whole grain products, and Joey's going to tell you what those whole grain products are.
Popcorn, granola, and cereal.
You'll see here that we use a simple air popper to pop our popcorn. They're pretty reasonably priced, again about $13 in the store, but if you want, you can feel free to buy popcorn that is already popped. I would just mention that if you want to keep your trail mix, less calories, less additives, maybe buy popcorn that is plain.
In our trail mix, we also have sunflower seeds and edamame. We will also be using dried fruit such as dried up raisins and cranberry. Lastly, I asked my mom if we could put a little bit of candy in it. So here it is. Before doing kitchen work, wash your hands with soap and water. First, turn your popper on, then pour your seeds up here.
Be careful, make sure you do it with appearance because it gets hot.
Oh, it's starting to smell really good. Set up your ingredients.
So the way I like to set up our trail mix ingredients is by measurements. So for example, the items that we want the most of in our trail mix, or the items that are going to fill us up, we're going to have the biggest measuring cup, so it takes up most of the trail mix. So we have a cup, for example, of our popcorn. We're going to move down to a half cup of our granola and our cereal that we've combined. The next is going to be the edamame and also the sunflower seeds. It's going to be a 1/3 cup. Next, our dried fruits, so our cranberries and raisins, which is going to be a 1/4 cup. And then finally, Joey, you can lift up that measurement. So we have just a tablespoon of our candy. So for example, we want to keep it on the healthier side, healthy being relative. We want more of the popcorn and less of the candy.
And now we set up the trail mix the way I like it best. Close up the bag and shake it so it all mixes up. It is called trail mix,
Well, that concludes our trail mix making video today with my son Joey. I hope you enjoyed it. I really like this recipe because, as you can see, there's a variety of items that you can use for it. So if there's something that you don't prefer here, you can switch it out with something else. but a lot of different items that you can use. The other thing that's great about it is that, as you can see, your children can help you with it. So a very good recipe to make and pretty reasonably priced. Take care and be well.